Hello, everyone. Please excuse the relaxed look, but I just got back from a brisk walk and was about to fix myself some breakfast when I decided I'd make a quick video. My name is Charles Cheney. I'm the owner and CEO of Delilah's Treasures. You may have seen one or two of the videos that I made previously. And this time, the subject is the same when it comes to Ghana, West Africa. But the conversation is going to be more about expatriation and the opportunities that are there. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to those of you mothers. Let me just start by saying that I know that there are many of you who are individuals of faith, whether it is a religious faith or some other kind of faith. Most people believe in something. Now, this may sound a little odd, but we have already transitioned into the what we would call the age of Aquarius. The dates are a little off. Most people think 2100 is when that's supposed to occur, but the calendar system that we use in the West is off by several hundred years. And as many people will tell you, it is the occurrence of events that will let you know what 2100 year age we are in. So we have transitioned out of the age of Pisces and we're in the age of Aquarius. And so I look for certain things that might be happening. Now, I think that there has come a time in the history of humanity when individuals of African descent who are of the slave diaspora should consider engaging the continent of Africa. That is a belief that I have and a motivation that I have because of that belief. Now, I have taken actions, engaged in activity on my part to express my belief. I also think that the elderly in the community, now this is not just a message for African Americans, but that the elderly in our communities should lead the way when it comes to the spiritual, I use that word, movement of the day. Because I think that that is a position that if you live long enough, you find yourself in. Where as an elder, you have a responsibility to your community to observe, critique, and offer solutions. Whether or not you're listened to, that may be a different story. But if you travel, and I have traveled extensively, you will find that most cultures still respect the role of the elder in the community and the importance of the wisdom of elders and recognizing the wisdom of elders. So, with regard to re-engaging the continent of Africa, as I've said in other videos, I have thought about many different countries that I could start with. And one of those was Kenya and Cameroon and Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, Namibia, South Africa, and Ghana. So Ghana won out for me because it is a very, very peaceful country. As a matter of fact, as I've said in the past, in all of the four continents that I have been able to visit, Ghana is the most peaceful country that I have ever visited. Now, when it comes to the economy of Ghana, that is to say, money, a person can live very comfortably in Ghana if you have a sustained income of about $2,000 or more. A sustained income, meaning this money is going to come in whether you work or not, of about $2,000 or more. So really, I guess you could say that I'm speaking to the elderly about the opportunity to take that in which you have become vested and to transition yourself to a place where that vestiture goes 4 times as far. Now, why do I say 4 times as far? Because in Ghana, the exchange rate, currency exchange rate to the dollar, is 4 something to 1. Some days it's 4.26, some days it's 4.16, but it's basically just over 4 to 1. And so you can live very comfortably, find yourself a very comfortable place to stay for not a lot of money. Say a house for $150 a month. A house, a very nice house. And so, especially if you're thinking about, well, just you and your spouse, or just you yourself. Now, you should be aware of the fact that Ghana is a cash and carry economy or culture, or you could say society. So what do I mean by that? Well, in the United States and most Western countries, credit is king. So if you lease an apartment, say, or a house, you will maybe make a deposit of 1 month's lease, and then you pay as you go at the beginning of the month. So you're paying monthly, even though you may sign a 2-year lease. In Ghana, if you sign a 1 or 2 year lease, you pay the entire amount up front. So you don't worry about paying your lease for the rest of the period because you paid it all up front. And so that is an expense that you really don't concern yourself with. Even electricity. Electricity is metered, you pay in advance, and your meter then affords you or gives you or credits you for the amount of electricity that you purchased. And you see it on your meter, and you can also watch to see what your usage is on your meter. So you pay lease for like 1 year, maybe 2 years. The longer you buy a lease for, the less the lease costs. So say, for example, if you are going to lease a small house, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, a huge great room and a kitchen, and you want to lease that, and the rate is 500 CD a month. That should be a pretty nice house in a private compound, a self-compound they call it. So you would pay 12 times that amount, but if you leased it for 2 years, the price may drop to 400 CD a month. So the longer you lease it, the more money you save. And there is the local market where you can buy food like fish and fruits and all kinds of wonderful food. And it's very, very inexpensive. It will cost you like 1/4 of whatever everything costs you here in the U.S. Or you can go to a place like the grocery store inside the mall, where the prices are pretty much equivalent to what they might be in North Carolina. So it's up to you. And it's always good to have a representative. If you are an expatriate in a country where you're a foreigner, it's good to have a local representative, what you would call a proxy, to represent you when you want to make large purchases. Like, say, if you want to, say, you lease a house, it's not going to come air conditioned. So you want to have to buy air conditioners and have them installed in the house. Your proxy will go out on the economy and buy these big ticket items and then negotiate with professionals to come and install them for you. You want to have a generator, a backup generator, because there's such a thing as doomso, and doomso is when the lights go off. Now, in certain areas, it's not as bad as others. Like, for example, Kosovo. When I'm there, I visit about 4 times a year, and I have a house there. When I'm there, the power never goes out more than 2 hours at a time, and it's not that frequent, maybe once a week. But now the water situation is different. So with the water, the tap, they call it, the general tap, may go out and stay out for a week or even more. But the Ghanaians have a pretty clever solution. They use what's called a poly tank. In most cases, it sits up high in the sun so that the water that's in the poly tank is heated by the sun during the day. That kills bacteria and that kind of stuff. Now, with mine, the water from the tap flows into the poly tank and then from the poly tank into my house. So it keeps the water in the poly tank, circulating through the poly tank. If the tap, the general tap, goes out, then I close the general tap and then I have 180 gallons of reserve water supply that provides water to my house. And I'm good to go because it's 180 gallons that I use to shower, to cook, wash dishes, and things of that nature. It lasts me a long time. But they also have it so that they know that there are people out there who have poly tanks. So even though the tap may be off during the day, they may turn it back on at night for a couple hours, and what that does is replenishes your poly tank. So those are the kinds of things that you have to be prepared to deal with. But those are not deal breakers. Now, the highway systems in Ghana are good highway systems, but the community roads most times are unpaved. Some community roads are paved, and some are unpaved. And so, but that too is not a deal breaker. Ghana, every time I visit, the highway systems are being improved, the road systems are being improved, and slowly but surely, paved roads are creeping into the communities. You have at least one main paved road in each community, or one well-kept unpaved road in each community. So now let's talk about transportation. In Ghana, they have a thing where they call it, it's like a bus system, but it's not buses. What it is vans that have been changed so that they accommodate a lot of people, have a lot of seats, big vans, and they ride around, and it costs you like half a Ghanaian dollar to go as far in the direction that van goes as you want to go. So the half a dollar would be measured in what they call paces, which is like a penny, but it's 1/4 of a penny, and you pay 50 paces to travel in this car for as far as you want to travel. Then you get off and you take another car in the other direction. You could travel the whole country like that. Or you can catch a cab. A cab is more expensive. A taxi is more expensive than a car. With a car, you're sharing it with all these people. And with a taxi, you may share that too, with 2 or 3 people. But that is more expensive. Now, private transportation is really the way to go. But if you expatriate in Ghana, you want to have your own vehicle, you need to have that vehicle shipped from the U.S. That's what the Ghanaians would recommend to you.